This is Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined by Tom Brewer. He's a member of the City Council in Torrance, which has so much great history in its midst. You just celebrated your 100th anniversary, and in connection with that centennial celebration, your city decided to look at a specific bridge. Tell us about the bridge and the history of it.
That's right. We just rechristened the bridge. We realized that...
Well, what's the bridge? I mean, there's so much to talk about before we get to
the bridge is the bridge that goes over Torrance Boulevard. It's been called the Torrance Bridge for a long time, and we realized for the last 100 years it never really had an official name. So a few weeks ago...
Tell us about its development, because there was someone who was really significant in the world of design who developed that bridge.
Irvin Gill was one that designed the bridge, and he's a very plain designer. When you look at the bridge, it's not painted, it's not brick, it's just concrete. And his whole idea was to be very simplistic about it, let nature take its course. And the problem was, over the 100 years, nature did take its course. And a lot of ivy grew up on the bridge, and with the ivy...
Not decorative? It didn't look good?
It looked very good, but the problem was it damaged the bridge.
Of course.
It caused cracks in the concrete.
Remember the Minnesota bridge that went down a few years ago? You got to be very careful with infrastructure.
And we found that out. Along the way, as we were looking at the bridge, we found out that what we thought would be about $50,000 to repair turned out to be about $350,000.
Wow. So where did you access the money?
Well, we have capital reserve accounts.
Oh, good.
And we have some reserves that go with that. So we were able to tap into those reserves to repair the bridge, because it's the iconic part of Torrance. It's our logo.
I can envision it in my mind.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the redesign. Like you said, you recently had the groundbreaking, I guess you could call it, or the christening of the bridge. Tell us about it.
Well, when they first started designing the bridge, the street that it was over, instead of being Torrance Boulevard, it was El Prado.
Interesting.
So the designs first started out to be El Prado, and then the Southern Pacific Railway Company was going to pay for it, so it became the Southern Pacific Railway Bridge, but nobody ever really officially named it. We didn't realize that. So we go back and look at the history, and we realize there's no name.
Oh my.
So how fitting would it be that after the 100 years we decide to name the bridge, and a few weeks ago the Torrance City Council named it, now get this, it's very short, it's the Southern Pacific Railway El Prado Bridge. Which
I think is fair and is a hat tip to the two organizations or two names that made it work. Tell us about why it was important that, in addition to the structural repairs, that you really make this bridge what it should be, that you're able to develop it in such a way that it can be that symbol of Torrance.
Well, the thing about this bridge is it's actually on the border. It's the gateway when you come down Torrance Boulevard, which is our main street. It's the gateway to our city. It's the first thing you see when you go east or go west on Torrance Boulevard. And so it's become the logo for our city. It's on everything. And it's getting a little bit tired, so we thought we'd fix it up, and fortunately we were able to pull it off. And in its 100th year of existence, we celebrated the reopening of the bridge.
Is this bridge considered a historic place? Is it on a registry or anything like that?
Yeah, it's on the National Historic Registry of Prominent Places. It's been there for quite a few years.
Were you at risk of losing that if you revamped it or revitalized it?
Yeah, one of the things we found out was when we start revising historic monuments, that we have to do it in a very special way, which also adds to the cost. And yes, we found out the hard way that we had to do it the way they wanted.
Which was?
Well, you restore it to what it used to be, which was no paint. It's just a concrete bridge, and it looks, if you were to look at it, it would look very plain, but when you get the history of the bridge and see the arches and everything that Gil put into it, you'd appreciate what he did and why it's so historic.
Well, congratulations. We are glad to see that the Southern Pacific Electric Railway El Prado Bridge is open. His name is Tom Brewer. He is a council member in Torrance. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thanks for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.